SEC power rankings. Let's go ahead and get rolling. I don't think there's a great team in the SEC this year, Caleb. I don't know that there's a great team in college football, period, which I think would make for a fantastic 12-team playoff. Like, if I could change...
Yeah, they got to move it up, shouldn't they?
I know, like, if I could change any one thing in life other than being, like, 4 or 5 inches taller, it would be that they had the college football playoff this year. Can you imagine? I mean, it would be so fantastic. But the SEC power rankings, do we say Georgia by default? I guess we do, right?
Yeah, they're number 1 by default. But, guys, you can make a lot of money fading Georgia each week on the spread. I'm telling y'all. And I did it again. It's been my best bet.
And that's a year in the running, too. And listen, that is not to say that Georgia is not a very, very, very good football team and might not win a national championship, because Alabama, who you have at number 2, did it the Georgia way for a long time. And now they're trying to go back to that. I don't know if they can do it this late in Nick Saban's career, but they're going back to controlling the football. You've got them at number 2, and I think they're probably a little bit more solid of a number 2 than you. You've got LSU number 3.
Yeah, Alabama moved up to a number 2 because I think that whatever you think of Jalen Milroe, and look, we don't think he's good, and I think Tennessee fans should be excited about that opportunity in Tuscaloosa. I'm going to be honest, as long as it's not a night game, because Tennessee at night on the road just is a disaster. But I will say that I do think that they figured out their formula. They can win with tough defense and Jalen Milroe not making mistakes, which, by the way, Jalen Milroe still made some mistakes in this game. So, but if he doesn't turn the ball over, I think they can be okay, because their defense, as I told everybody, is really, really, really good. That Texas game was not a reflection of their defense. They held Texas to 13 points through 3 quarters. And
we've seen this before, actually, out of Tennessee, that would play down to their opponents in Vanderbilt and Kentucky. So it's not something you want, but it's kind of part of it. And I thought Tennessee played down to UTSA for about 2 drives there in the second half. So LSU 3, Missouri number 4.
Which, by the way, for those questioning why LSU is 3, that's why I still have LSU 3. Yes, they struggle with Arkansas. I said they would struggle with Arkansas before last week, and I stuck with it. So I'm not going to drop them in my power rankings too much. That's a rivalry game. It's the battle for the Golden Boot. Arkansas always puts up a fight versus LSU. And
Missouri number 4, Caleb.
You suck, you jackass.
Dave,
what are you?
They're one of 3 undefeated teams in the SEC.
I know,
wait.
But when you watch that football team, do you think they're a top third of the SEC?
I can't ignore what I'm seeing in this way. They beat Memphis is one of the 5 best group of 5 teams in football right now. Kansas State is a top 25 win. That's 3 weeks removed from the MTSU ugly slugfest. Now, what if Missouri is like that, like one of those teams that like they never look good, but they keep winning? You've seen those teams before.
Yeah, whatever. Smoky Mountain Red gives a what the H emoji. SEC power rank. You just know I don't like Missouri. I would have Missouri 11 if they were like 10-0. Kentucky 5. Let's run through the second tier if
by
we can.
default, because Kentucky's played a terrible schedule. But yeah,
true. Ole Miss. I think they're going to end up being lower than 6. You've got them at 6 now. I think that
Alabama lost against them.
I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction. That Lane Kiffin thing is going to go south. And it's not because he's not a good coach. It's because he found himself. He goes all the way back to 2009 when he left Tennessee. Then he goes to Southern California, where they got hammered with the NCAA violations. Now he's at Ole Miss, where he can't get the type of talent that other teams can. He took that job before NIL. And now with NIL in place, the Rebels can't compete financially. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now that within 2 or 3 years, that thing is going to go south. I thought it would go south with him taking another job like Florida. And I know through my sources at LSU, he reached out for the LSU job before Ed Orgeron had even been fired, and had the idea to keep Orgeron around, which they weren't going to do because he was hitting on boosters' wives. So, but I've got
he and Lane Kiffin would have been a perfect fit together then.
What's that?
He and Lane Kiffin would have been a perfect fit together then. They'd have been a team. Wingmen for each other.
Yeah, the boosters' wives party was be kind of strange. Texas A&M at number 7. Florida.
Can't take anything away from them, by the way. I thought they would unravel, and they didn't.
I agree. I thought Bobby, and I said this, if you remember, I thought Bobby Petrino would bring a sense of order to that team. I don't know that he's a long-term fit, but with what they're doing there, I think he brought a sense of order, and I think that's happening. And Jimbo Fisher probably had a little bit too much on his plate as far as being the true offensive coordinator. And then you have Florida at number 8. And you have to put them ahead of Tennessee because they beat Tennessee. But at the end of the day, with Tennessee at number 9, where do you predict they will finish in this group?
I still think they'll finish top 5 in the SEC. I'm in like the 4 to 6 range for Tennessee right now. I can't put them above Alabama, LSU, or Georgia. I can't go there right now. I can't say they're going to finish ahead of any of those teams. But after that top 3, they're in the 4 to 6 range. I'm still pretty sure they'll finish ahead of Missouri, and that'll make Dave happy. And I'm pretty sure they'll finish ahead of Kentucky.
But I think they'll be 4 at the end of the day, which is why I wish they had a 12-team playoff, because much like those teams in the 90s and 2000s, they are going to be playing their best ball at the end of the year as they continue to develop this offense around Joe Milton. Then Auburn at number 10, South Carolina number 11, Arkansas number 12, Mississippi State at number 13, and then Vanderbilt at number 14. I was pretty stunned by the way Auburn, I don't want to say stunned, but the way Auburn played against Texas A&M, that their talent level is lower than I thought it was. And
exactly where I am.
Yeah, who was the dolt that was their coach before? I can't remember. Brian Harsin. Yeah. Okay. Listen, Auburn administrators, can you imagine if Tennessee's administrators came out and brought you this? We've got this new innovative coach. Oh, cool. He's innovative. What does he do? He likes to have 3 tight ends on the field at the same time, and sometimes 4. I mean, how would that go over? How does that spell? Because that's what it was. And I remember, and for Saturday Down South, I was writing about Auburn and Alabama. And I was like, there is no way that that's going to work. And it's just the exact opposite of the way college football and football in general is going. I thought that
they were 180ing. They wanted to the exact opposite of Gus Malzahn, like the exact opposite, which you see athletic directors do this all the time. You saw Tennessee do this, by the way. When a coach doesn't work out, they go for the exact opposite of that coach in every way, as if like that's not how you should hire. Like when they had Lane Kiffin, didn't work out, so they're like, let's do the exact 180 from Lane Kiffin and go for Derek Dooley.
Now I'll pick a bone with you in here. You've got South Carolina at number 11. I would probably actually have them at about the 8 category because of quarterback. You point out both of South Carolina's losses are to teams who are still undefeated. Mississippi State, though, I thought was a good win, not a big win. We'll see a lot more, but I would have had South Carolina more in the 8 or 9 range.
I could see that. I can't have them ahead of Tennessee or Florida, though. Not yet. We'll have to wait and see. I had so that's kind of why I kept them down here. Look, things are going to change pretty soon, and I can't have them. I could, I guess, have them ahead of Auburn, but Auburn still has that win over Cal in their back pocket. South Carolina doesn't have a win like that. And Mississippi State at home, let's be honest. Playing Mississippi State in Starkville is one thing, but getting Mississippi State at Williams-Brice at night, Dave, you know this. Williams-Brice at night is a brutal place to play.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it is.
So do Tennessee's football players know that as well.